It's Summit Day at SuperReturn International 2018, and with 5 separate streams, the hundreds of delegates descending on Berlin can access more specialist content than ever before. From private debt and German private equity to ESG integration, the key themes were once again covered, with individual attention given for the first time to real estate and disruption and innovation.
We are an industry at an inflection point in its history. We're just on the cusp of some dramatic changes, mostly positive, brought on by the application of new technologies and methodologies. So it's like this is the late 1700s, just before the steam engine was invented, or maybe this is 1958 before the integrated circuit was created, or perhaps this is 1976, just before the first mass-produced personal computer came to market. We're about to unleash an unprecedented set of discoveries, inventions, business models that will dramatically change the performance of our industry for the better.
Inspiring words from the summit chair about what tech can bring, and music to the ears of fintech founders determined to swap the fear of disruption for a more positive image.
Let's see what fintech is bringing so far. It's definitely bringing less operating cost. It's bringing much more simplicity and ease of use. It's bringing more transparency, actually. Many fintech products are much more understandable for families and for firms than traditional products. And it is also bringing the ability for investors to invest into loans to the small firms and to the real economy. So it's bringing all these things. Whether this is real disruption or not, that's a bit of a different conversation.
Alongside SuperReturn, SuperVenture also addressed the relationships between investors and technology businesses.
We work with more than half the venture-backed companies in the United States and increasingly across the world. We have offices anywhere in the US where you'd think there'd be an innovation happening, and increasingly on a global basis.
Silicon Valley Bank's Greg Becker, better placed than most to discuss the merits of entrepreneurial enterprises.
You can't be an industry, you can't be a leader in any market without having innovation in your blood. So the target market for innovation is more massive than it ever has been, and it's growing at a very rapid pace. So that alone creates a lot of energy and excitement. And it's around AI, it's around machine learning, it's around consumer internet, it's around hardware solutions. So it's in life sciences. So it's not just one thing, which is what gets me so excited. It's not just the internet. It's not just software. It is this broad definition of innovation across all industries, and that's what's really spurring on this economy in a really material way, and it's going to become an increasingly large part of the market. So I'm excited about it for that reason, and that gives me a lot of optimism about the future.
When I first came to Europe, being an entrepreneur was not celebrated. In fact, it was almost something to be ashamed of. I remember in Paris back in 2003-04, one of the entrepreneurs that I was working with took me aside and said, my parents are ashamed of me. And it's basically expected that since I couldn't get a good job, and that's why I became an entrepreneur, I had to start my own company. And as an American and having come from Silicon Valley, I couldn't believe that. I couldn't really wrap my brain around it, but that really was the mindset, and it was endemic, and that has now changed. Entrepreneurship is welcomed, it is celebrated, it is nurtured, which is more important than anything else. And we really see, I think Europe has got in place the ecosystem to really support entrepreneurship and to build great unicorn companies.
Whilst attitudes have changed towards entrepreneurs in Europe, so too has the importance of ESG, with a new generation of investors, consumers and regulators driving demand for more transparency, and a workforce looking to be employed by companies embracing a more ethical approach.
There are studies that show that it's more and more important for younger people when they choose employers. So the more you tell about what you stand for, what your purpose is as a firm, and what you do, I think the easier it is for people to assess, to compare, and that is definitely one element of transparency and why you should communicate more.
And with more than 2,300 delegates attending SuperReturn International 2018, the key discussions and ideas sparked here in Berlin are sure to trigger the most influential conversations taking place in the industry for the year to come.